Hey YouTube, Jam here. Welcome back to the gaming station. Today we're going to be continuing the meta breakdown series that I started last week by doing both solo and duo showdown. So I'm going to be doing this video the same way I did the other two videos by picking my top 5 out of the brawlers that have both the highest win and pick rates for the mode. But for duos, I actually had to pull from the top 15 win and pick rates because there wasn't enough brawlers overlapping between the top 10 of each category. But real quick, I want to say that Showdown is the one mode where all brawlers can be played with some degree of success. So I'm not saying you should only play these brawlers, all I'm saying is that according to the stats and the way that I'm reading them, these brawlers have the most success for solo and duo showdown, if that makes sense. Now, the stats I'm going to be using for this video are from June 1st, so if they drastically change by the time you're seeing this video, please don't roast me. I'm honestly not sure how much the numbers for Showdown fluctuate based on maps and modifiers. Anyway, let's start with the solo showdown list. My honorable mentions for solo showdown are 8-Bit. 8-Bit is currently the #1 brawler in terms of win rate for solo showdown. His use rates, however, miss making the top 10 for the category, which keeps him out of my top 5. Rosa. Rosa ranks 10th in win rates and just misses the use rate list by 0.1%. So she's super close to making the cut, but not quite there. And that's all for my honorable mentions. I only got 2 for showdown. Now let's get into my top 5. Alright, number 5 is going to be Pam. So right now Pam has the #2 win rate in solo showdown at 59.8% and the 11th highest use rate at 2.89%. I had to stretch a little bit for her technically because she's not in the top 10 of use rate, but only 4 brawlers actually overlap for this list, and Pam misses the use list by just 0.03%, so I'm giving her the 5th spot. Pam is good for solo showdown because of 3 things: her high HP, her good damage at both far and close up, and her healing abilities. All these can keep you in a fight, and if you manage to get a few power cubes, you should be able to hold your own against almost any brawler. Alright, next up on the list we have Bull. Bull ranks 4th on the list because he has the 9th highest win rate at 51.8% and the 6th highest pick rate at 5.26%. So when we get further in the list, we'll talk about why I think Bull and a few other brawlers rank on this list, but for now, let's just say his high damage and high HP make him hard to kill. Alright, on to number 3. Number 3 on my list is actually going to be El Primo. El Primo has the 8th highest win rate at 52.4% and the 7th highest pick rate at 4.9%. Primo's in a similar situation as Bull. High damage and high health make you hard to kill in Showdown. Next up, in the number 2 spot, we have Darryl. Darryl has the 7th highest win rate at 52.5% and the 5th highest use rate at 5.6%. Darryl's the 3rd tank in a row on this list, and at this point I'm going to stop and wonder if the last map in rotation, Safety Corner, had a role in skewing these numbers a little bit. From what I played on the map, the best strategy for me was to grab 1 or 2 power cubes and rush to the middle and bush camp until someone tried to walk into the middle. And honestly, all 3 of these brawlers, as well as Rosa, who was one of my honorable mentions, excel at this playstyle for Showdown. So, like I said in my first 2 videos, I know this might not be the best way to find quote-unquote meta brawlers, but it's the best way that I could think of. And I know that a lot of people say that solo showdown is just a bunch of bush campers and teamers. So, if I keep doing these types of videos, maybe we can verify if that's actually the case or not. Anyway, let's say something nice about Darryl before we move on to number 1. Darryl has high health and high damage, which makes him really hard to kill in Showdown. And he has an auto-charging super, which makes him arguably the best bush camper out of the bunch. Now, number 1 on my list is going to be BB. BB has the 5th highest win rate at 52.8%. and has the 4th highest use rate at 6.5%. BB is a brawler that I would expect to see on a list like this. High health, good damage, and very fast movement speed. Couple all that with one of her star powers and she can be a beast when it comes to running down people and just beating them with her bat. So I'm going to put the list for solo showdown up now. And like I said, I think a list like this really drives that bush camping narrative that solo showdown has. And honestly, I'm interested to see if this trend continues the next time we do this type of video. I will try to pick a different map as well to see if that has an effect on it too. Now, let's move on to duo showdown. Like I said at the start of the video, I had to extend the win and pick rate list to 15 because the top 10 only had 2 brawlers that actually overlapped. Alright, let's get started with the honorable mentions. Sprout. Sprout has the #1 win rate for duo showdown at 49.8%. But he only has a use rate of 2.5%, which is 0.3% too low for him to make the use rate list. Crow. Crow is #1 in the pick rate list at a staggering 9.5%, but he falls just short of the top 15 in win rates by 0.2%, so he just missed the cut. Having that win rate at such a high use rate is honestly impressive. And those are my honorable mentions for duo showdown. Now, let's get on to the top 5. Number 5 is actually going to be Poco. Poco is the brawler that beat Crow out for the number 15 spot in win rate, having a win rate of 43%. And he also holds the 14th spot for use rate at 2.9%. Poco is great in duo showdowns because of his great survivability. When you have Poco with his star powers and gadget, he has 2 ways to heal himself and 3 ways to heal his teammate, if you're running decapo. This can make Poco's team extremely difficult to kill, and if they manage to get a handful of power cubes, they can be a nightmare to deal with. The next brawler on the list is actually going to be Piper. Piper is currently number 14 in win rates at 43.2% and 8th in use rates at 3.5%. So I'm actually surprised that Piper ranks this high for any kind of showdown. I'm guessing the fact that she's able to do massive amounts of damage while being able to stay out of the middle of a fight, so if her partner goes down, she can keep her team in a match, helps her rank as high as she does. Alright, we're on to number 3. Number 3 on the duo showdown list is going to be Ems. Ems is 12th in win rates at 43.7% and 11th for use rate at 3.1%. I'm really not surprised about Ems. She's a really strong brawler right now. She has good damage, good star powers, and a gadget that she can pop when people get too close. This is actually the 3rd list I've mentioned her in, being an honorable mention in both Gem Grab and ranking in Brawl Ball as well. Brock is actually going to be number 2 on the list, and the first brawler that ranked in both the top 10 of win rates at 44.2% as well as pick rates at 4.3%. Brock is in a similar situation to Piper, where he has the ability to stay out of fights while still dealing good damage. But, unlike Piper, he has an offensive super that can get him kills more consistently, while having a gadget that is more flexible in terms of being used offensively or defensively. Brock brings a lot to a duo team, and I can see why he ranks so high. And just like that, we're on the last brawler for the duo showdown list. The number 1 brawler for duo showdowns, the way I'm reading the data, is Jean. Jean is the other brawler that ranked in the top 10 of win rates at 45%, as well as use rates at 3.8%. Jean has a good amount of health and has good damage when up close. And if you try to run away from a fight with him, he can poke you to death because of the mechanics of his attack. His super can pull a weak brawler to him and his teammate, which makes it easy to get power cubes for his team. And his healing star power can help his teammate have sustain during a match. There's a lot to like about Jean in duos, and again, I get why he ranks so high. I won't lie, I think this duos list came out pretty good. I don't think it's so map dependent like I said might have happened with the solo list, and I can honestly see why these brawlers ranked and how they can help teammates win in duo showdown. Like I said earlier, I don't mean to make these showdown lists to tell you you have to play these brawlers to win. As I said, showdown is a mode where pretty much every brawler can have some degree of success when played right. These showdown lists are more just to go over the numbers and show what brawlers are having success right now. But what did you think of them? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't checked out my Gem Grab and Brawl Ball videos, check those out as well. I still have Heist, Siege, and Bounty left to go, so stay tuned for those videos as I'm trying to get through those all very soon here. Alright, well, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.